are live.
Oh God! I don't have my mask on.
You get your hair out from under your collar.
Okay,
Did you ever get your printer set?
YouTube,
Printer?
starting on
Devin
Facebook.
is there now.
Still working on it?
Working on it. He
Send
came
us
from
a-
Oceanside, so
Oh shit.
I didn't realize that. Dan, what is your address? Maybe text it to me since we're live.
I will type it in on your phone.
What, the address here? There, I got you.
8367
1-800 Butthole Drive.
There.
It's your destination all the time.
Okay, got it.
Felt like that one. Okay, so we are live as usual. We need to know if we have any problems with sound or video. But if we don't, then that's great.
You said butt.
Yeah, I also said butthole earlier. So, yeah, we don't really have an outline today. We're just improvising. But we have a couple topics that we want to talk about. We have about an hour and a half of runtime. We'll be ending at 8:30. And we have a special guest. We actually have two special guests. One of them has not arrived yet, but our first special guest is Mr. Tim Paintball.com.
Furpo.
You might know him as
Furpinator.
You might know him as PBDnA. You also might know him as Tim Furpo.
You might not know him at all. You just might know the term Furpo Watch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Tim has quite a following, not only through his Paintball Tek page, but through his Furpo Watch hashtag.
Fucking Glenn at Gateway today was like, can we just like do a stage one? I need likes on my
You can't
Instagram.
stage Furpo Watch.
Yeah, you can't stage that.
Oh my God.
So there you have it. Some of them are fake. They're not all real.
He was
so
trying to get me to stage a photo for him so he could get the Instagram.
I'm a doubter now. Doubting.
Are we live on Facebook?
Yeah, we should be. Oh no, we aren't. But we're live on.
Jesus, all that great dialogue there.
Not. It wasn't that great.
Done.
I don't know what just happened here.
Hey,
Okay.
Benji.
All right, now we're live on Facebook. We thought we were, but we're not. So introduction round 2. We're here with our special guest number 1. We're gonna have 2 special guests today.
Cool.
This special guest, you might know him as Tim Furpo. Yeah, he's paintballtek.com.
What was that intro?
You might know him for his.
Why are you starting this again?
Because we weren't live on Facebook.
Oh.
You
Everyone
also
on YouTube is seeing double.
I don't think anyone's even watching on YouTube or on Facebook.
Nor should they be.
But yeah, you also might know him from his hashtag, which Tim just revealed to us is some of the photos are occasionally staged, which is
Furpo Watch.
which is kind of a disappointment because I was a believer before, but now I will always have my doubts.
I always thought they were staged in the first place. You know, kind of like the moon landing. You can't catch him.
Oh, is that fake too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Duh.
What's on your shirt, Tim? That's a cool paintball shirt.
Kyrie Irving
No,
says that
what's
the
on-
moon landing was faked and that the earth was flat and that Tim doesn't really fall asleep.
I want to see a new reality show where they have flat earthers try and prove that the earth is flat. Like, that would be a show I would.
That would be-
It
Does
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense that the Earth is flat. How do we have 9 days?
There you have it, folks. The earth is
Hey,
not
there's
flat.
theories. You gotta join the groups on
Does the
Facebook.
sun go underneath the Earth?
You gotta join the Facebook groups. They've got all theories laid
God
out.
dang it.
Talk
Alright,
to QT from Playing Eclipse. He's
He's a flat Earth.
he's like an aficionado on debunking flat earth theories.
Water always wants to be level. How does water go round?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And if you hold a ball up and pour water on it, it doesn't stick to the ball.
Yeah, I saw that video. Who posted that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some idiot on Facebook. Just like
All right. Well, we got some old school guns in house. We got the PB Tek here to answer all your questions and to hopefully fall asleep on stream. If he does, the first person to hashtag Furpo Watch gets a prize.
We'll
Yeah.
snip a little bit of his
We'll see.
beard
Actually,
off
you
and
know
send
what?
it to you in an
I
envelope.
had to ship a bunch of stuff today, and this guy, he is filling out his label for his package, and I swear his eyes are open, but I'm hearing
What the fuck?
like a real snore. And I'm looking at him like, who is snoring? No one here has their eyes closed. No one is sleeping. And sure enough, it's the guy. He fell asleep with his hand on the pen, his eyes open.
At the post office?
At the post office, leaning onto the
Holy shit.
the median. And then he was like this, like, and then he just... and kept filling it out. I was like, did that just happen? No one else saw it?
It's like the ultimate like fake out.
It was
You can be awake and asleep
I was
at the same time.
surprised to see it.
That was a guy working there.
No, actually
Oh, okay.
it wasn't. But the lady working there, she is something else.
At which one?
You know,
the
from the
Cherokee?
Bicentennial.
The older woman or the
Older
younger
woman. You
two
come in there,
girls?
she's like, "You got no internationals, no internationals. This past 4:30, baby."
Oh, yeah.
Who put-" And I had my container there that I had just taken my packages out and I put them in, and I had it sitting there because I had to fill out a money order. And she's like, "Whose piece of crap container is this? I'm about to throw it out." And I was like, "It's mine." And everyone just starts laughing. She's like, I'm too quick for myself. I'm too quick for my own guy. I'm just ready to get out of here."
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lady
Post
is.
office employees
she
talking
is
shit on you,
feisty.
man.
She is feisty.
There's typically one feisty woman.
Where
at the
did
post
Tim's
office.
pants go? I don't know. They're
He
right
just has
there.
desert camouflage tattooed on his legs.
That's right.
I'm
Pretty much.
probably gonna get the same thing
We
next
don't
week.
do Portillos. We do whatever this is.
Tacos
Taqueria
Gavilán.
El Gavilán.
I tried to get
Gavilán.
fucking Portillos today, but the traffic on that route was just ridiculous. I would have not been here in time again.
I think I need some more coffee. So, what are we talking about today, Benji?
What are you talking about?
Well, you
today,
brought some
Wendy?
cool guns out. Like,
Yeah.
what about this? Let's start with this. What is this, Dan?
All right, this is an Annihilator rifle, which belonged to Rick. What is Rick's last name? He was part of RTP, Rick the Prick. I mean, that was his name, Rick the Prick. And his shop was him, and it was Glenn Mullen. I think that's Glenn's last name, and they were Paintball Pro Shop. And so it's kind of confusing when people talk about PPS and say Glenn, because they could be talking about either Paintball Pro Shop in San Diego, who made the Viper, or they could be talking about Glenn Palmer at Palmer's Pursuit Shop. But this is actually an Annihilator rifle that I believe belonged to Rick, and he traded it to someone on MCB, and then Sean Chip ended up with it, and then Sean traded it to me. And it actually has the dual 12-gram.
So did that start out as a K1 or a K2?
This was likely a K2. Oh no, this was actually a pellet rifle because it has the pellet rifle lower tube. But yeah, it's a rebarreled pellet rifle. And you can see right here, here's the dual piercer.
Right.
So
That's the
this
same
one
one that
that
I
you-
have
you-
on the pump
you play
twist
with?
dual.
yeah. No, I I won't play with this, as you can tell.
It has a really
One of those
good
things.
looking stock.
Yeah, the stock is pretty
It's
cool.
really shiny.
I think Rick painted it himself.
Except
You got
Jason.
that, Dan?
I'm not even gonna bother with it. Anyway, I can't get the dual piercer in,
Yeah,
but luckily Paintball Tek's here, he can fix it. So on the stock, it actually has the hole right here, which is for the K1. So it was originally a K1 stock. So usually on the K1, there's a vent valve on the bottom because it uses the dual piercers, but they didn't have a hole drilled right here to. I mean, they may have, but I don't think they had the hole drilled right there. So when you are unscrewing, your tube stays pressurized on the K1, so you have to depressurize by turning the vent on the bottom. So if you find a K-series rifle that has a brass piece right here with a little brass thumb screw on it, then that is it was originally a K1. Or it could be a K rifle that was cut down, because Tim McMurray did cut down some of the K rifles. So the K rifle was about 1985. Could be 84, but likely 85. K1 was also probably 85, and then KP or K2 was likely 86, and then KP2 was sometime after that.
The Korean Pride 3.
The Korean
The
Pop,
Azadin?
Korean Pop
Azadin?
3,
Azadin
K-pop 3.
K-Pop 3, Paul, for you. Yeah. So
What up, Jason?
it is very difficult to find K-series rifles that were rebarreled by McMurray or by Stan Russell and Aaron Carter, or by McMurray later, because originally Stan Russell and Aaron Carter were creating the long-barreled Sheridans and selling them to McMurray, and McMurray would sell them at Mac 1 as the Annihilator. But they were also rebarreling some rifles, and so this would be a rebarreled rifle, and so that's why I wanted it.
Now, you really don't see too many people using these anymore. Like
Woodstock guns?
Yeah, Woodstock guns. I mean, a few years ago, I saw significantly more of them on the fields.
Well, you can't be competitive.
KP2s.
I mean, Alvar plays with his KP3, but really you can't be competitive playing SoCal stock with a K rifle. Although I would say that the lever action rifle is one of the more competitive ones, because when you're using the lever action, which I could go get to demonstrate, but basically you're cocking like this, or you're cocking however you cock it. It feels more natural rather than going like that. Although this isn't. I mean, this one is obviously direct feed, but if you're playing with a KP2, you're gonna cock it like that because it's rock back, or
rock back to the side.
That's rock forward for a Nelson, and then rock back is for a Sheridan. So yeah, it's rock back to the side, but it's really like you're just doing that action, and that's what's actually on a KP2.
Yeah, I've had luck here and there playing with the Thug, which is that bolt action rifle, but definitely when someone comes, face to face with me and they've got 40 shots and I'm, bolt action for each single ball, it's a little tougher.
Hard to stay compact when you're rocking a rifle.
I found it less hard, at least with the Thug, to stay compact, and just harder to make sure the next ball is exactly where the last one was.
Also with the Thug, it has the spring feed on the side, right? So
yeah. Well, that one, the spring feed is actually kind of nice because no matter what angle I have it on, it's got a ball ready.
Is the spring feed working on that?
Yeah, works really well.
I would play with a Woodstock rifle if it was one of the ones that had the stock cut down. That's the only thing that bugs me about playing with a Woodstock rifle, is because I can't shoulder it with a mask like I want to with a stocked rifle.
I have a couple with cut down stocks, and they do feel a little bit nicer to play with, but I don't know.
So like which was it? The one that Doc had, who was on Dogs of War. I'll see if I can borrow him from him and bring him down and show you guys. But he has a couple that have cutout stocks like that. They're really nice.
I don't know.
And the one that Ted Hines has, the shark milled into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that one's cut down and fits nice within most masks.
So that thing is pretty cool, although I've never seen you use it in game yet.
The BE90 blue,
which you totally should.
Blue Enterprise 90. This one doesn't work. The other one in Northern California actually airs up with a slight leak, but this one is busted. It needs some Paintball Tek love.
All right, so we had a quick question. So for anyone who doesn't know who we are, Benji, Dan, Tim, and the guy quietly blowing smoke vape rings in the background, that's Paul Young, the infamous.
Ooh, we got Paul Young on the stream.
The number one cheater in SoCal.
Yeah, that's not a great claim, but
It's a great claim.
Paintball.
The Paintball.
Dr. Paintball.
So now that you know who we are, Tim was saying as far as stocks go, that drop leg stocks are the way to go. I like L stocks inverted, just upside down L stocks. I really like where they put the gun on me. I don't like how high a standard L stock is. You're just
mounting it on a standard 45 frame though.
Yeah, standard 45 frame,
inverted.
So the L stock would be here.
Really?
Yeah, I really like it. It kind of
doesn't that put it a lot lower?
No, really not, because of the angle. I have it in my shoulder. It
makes it higher.
It has it really nice.
The only stocks I really like playing with are the CCIT stocks. On my Phantom, which I leave it super short too, so it's super close.
Oh yeah, I've seen you. You're like straight up
over
in
the top
your
of
barrel.
My gun. Yeah.
Nice and compact.
You're such a large guy though that if you gave me the same Phantom and I did the same thing, it would be sticking out like 2 extra feet, just because you have like so much more reach over I do.
Yeah. So before we go on to some more guns, I wanted to ask the people watching, how do you feel about reball? Do you play a reball? Do you use it just for practice in the backyard? Have you played at a reball facility? I know personally I used to play at the Tombstone Reball Center in Long Beach. That was run by Leon Stiles.
How far is Long Beach from here?
About an hour.
Hour drive south?
Yeah, hour. And Leon Stiles, you guys might know, he actually created the rocking trigger. So
The spider rocking
yeah,
trigger.
in that reball facility, you actually used to see some of the early rocking triggers that he made. They were on the walls, and you could go check them out. But
Oh, that's cool.
it was pretty fun, at least for the first couple weeks, and then you just had those guys showing up who were just like calling bounces, and it's like it's reball.
It's reball.
They all
If you
bounce.
don't break, you're not out. If you don't break, it's,
That's like
Paul
paintball guys playing airsoft.
Paul used
like,
to play there,
"Bounce."
and he never got hit. He played there 20
Never
plus
got hit.
times. Never had a break.
Never.
He also didn't use the same cheating techniques there.
Yeah,
That's true.
Dude, it never broke. I mean, reballs never broke.
Did you
on
ever
me.
wipe there?
Never, because it
Never
never
wiped.
broke on me.
That's
dude.
right. So I
I
think
got gogged and it would just bounce. So I'm just. You
The
just get
Still in.
flex sevens are for the win, man.
There you go.
Still in.
So I think reball is kind of cool simply because if you can keep the cost low, because I know some reball facilities will still charge $50, but I think if you could keep it to, say, getting a membership to where you're playing $20 a night, or if you paid $30 and you had unlimited air, unlimited fills of reballs. I mean, it'd be pretty fun to be able to go every day, every week. It's an indoor facility, so it might be fun.
It would be fun with like PGPs. I don't think I would want to play reball with.
Did you know that
anything
there's
else.
a reball facility in Southern California?
There's one in, where's it?
Encino, I think.
No,
Where?
no, not
somewhere
in
in the
Encino,
San
it's in
Fernando Valley.
Ventura.
Ventura or somewhere in the valley.
Yeah.
And I think it's $25 or $35 for like 4 hours.
Can you
of
look
play.
up what it's called? I know Saucy
So
Yeah,
you
I
just
think
is
like
always sharing it.
scoop your
Yeah.
pods through a bin and just fill them and go play.
Yeah,
Exactly.
in the Tombstone facility, they had like a lawnmower that picked up the reballs, and then they would have a big vat for everyone to take from. So they would clean it every few hours.
Oh wow. It was just rinsed with water, or
Was
what?
it like in a washing machine?
No,
They
they
use, like,
spray
baby
something
powder.
on it.
I think
No,
they use
that-
baby powder at Tombstone.
Really?
Or
Yeah.
like talcum.
Talcum, something
Oh.
like that.
Huh.
Something
So-
to keep the rubber from sticking.
Right.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And there were few loaders that would actually feed them. I know Halo's jammed constantly.
I bet my
Halo-
Spire.
Halos didn't work.
Rotors.
I bet my Spire. could
Rotors
work-
would not
work
feed
really
them,
well.
period.
Yeah.
But
Spire?
Velocities,
Spire 3.
Velocities fed them really well.
Or is it Spire 2? Which one do I have?
Velocity, Spire,
Spire 3.
would do it. The Revies would do it fine.
Revies.
So, Nate was just posting a video walking through that facility, right? Leon's facility.
Right.
And
And that's why I brought it up. So Nate, who works at I&I, posted a video
The
this
homie
week
Nate.
live streaming where he was actually in that
Nate the
Tombstone
Great.
facility because I&I was thinking about bringing that back. And it was kind of like frozen in time.
Oh, they like just closed it
Bunkers,
down and
yeah,
didn't do
bunkers
anything
were
with it?
still there. He found a Blue Eyes flex bottoms
No
just
way.
sitting there. All the posters on the wall. So
Wait,
Yeah,
is it
pretty
still
cool.
like that?
did you
Yeah,
watch
that
his
was
video?
this week.
Really?
That was this week. He picked up a flex frame. Like 10 years later, it wasn't touched.
Wow.
Like they just closed
You
it
should
down.
definitely open that up.
That'd be cool.
I think that's a great. I mean, I would go play.
Yeah. Would you? You're gonna go drive an hour to Long Beach?
I mean, like
I think it's all about location. Like even right now, the Reball facility, it's an hour.
Yeah, but
which
like,
is
think you could play like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
exactly.
You know, like
True.
during the week. As
Paul
long as there's
works
people.
right there.
yeah, I work
so
right next to Long Beach, so
Right?
You
just
go over
after
there and
work.
get some cheating in after work.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I really think it would depend
That'd be a
on
great
the
idea.
cost. Because do I want to go spend $40 for 3 hours at night?
True.
No, but would I pay? I don't know, $100, $150 a month to have, unlimited access for the month? Is it additional
Wait.
cost for them? Not
The
really.
thing is, you
True.
pay $25. You don't have to buy any paint, and you get to play for the whole night.
Right, but also if you're going for the night, you're talking about playing for maybe 3 hours, so $25 for 3 hours versus $50-$60 for 8 hours on a normal weekend.
But if you're playing X ball, which it is over there because they have turf and air bunkers,
Right.
3 hours is like a lot.
True.
That's true.
It
Get
really
tired.
would be
Yeah,
good
because a lot
for-
of teams will show up to a field and play like until noon, and then
Yeah,
they're like,
exactly.
all right, we're done.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Because you're exhausted after like
Yeah.
a couple
That's
points.
the
I mean,
standard
if
team
you're
schedule.
playing legitimately, like if you're playing back-to-back points like you should. If you're
So wait,
actually
you're
practicing.
saying that playing as SoCal stock, we're not playing legitimately?
No,
Is that what you're
it's
trying
a
to
different
say?
gameplay. Bocce.
Not when it's tanks and stick feeds. No.
For the people that don't know,
That's
Bocce
for
doesn't
Ted.
play X-Ball.
So I think it would be fun to play with pistols in a reball facility, but I can't see.
Now, when you say pistols, are you talking like pump pistols or like mag-fed pistols? Anything?
Well, anything probably, but mostly PGPs.
something that's the
ducks,
stick feed or 10 rounds or
box
less.
guns. Yeah, SoCal stock, I think would be pretty fun.
So
Yeah, one issue if you only have one field is it normally will be set up for X-Ball for these quick turnaround games. So you're not going to necessarily have the rec ball games that you might want.
True.
Yeah.
the Long Beach facility actually had 2 fields.
3.
3? So I remember they had like an X-Ball field, not regulation size. Right next door, they had a 1-on-1 field.
Yeah,
And
which
then-
was set up with like 12 bunkers, but
Yeah.
they also had downstairs. They had that
Airsoft.
office facility.
Oh,
No,
they
that,
played
that was
reball in
originally
there?
for reball.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
So
love
that
that
was set up
office.
in like an old office building where they kept the chairs, they kept the desks. They took
Awesome.
out the windows, they took out
Sick.
the light bulbs, and they had some really dim light bulbs. But the first time I played there, they smoked the entire place, and they had the
yeah.
lights
awesome.
super dim.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's pretty sick.
That was intense.
Were you ever playing there and somebody actually brought in real paint, like actual
no,
paintballs?
No.
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 But
That's
I
not
played.
cool, man.
Yeah, I played airsoft in the office field,
Yeah.
and my friend he just shot me point blank, and it hurt so bad. I don't know why. Like it was just like a gas powered
Yeah.
airsoft gun, but I dropped to the floor. I was like, dude, why the fuck did you do that? Like, I was
You're
all
like,
called for it.
Anthony says he wants to be on the show
Come on down, Anthony.
from Boston.
Come on down.
Come on.
Fly on out.
Come on over.
So yeah, for anyone who's played the reball facility that's up now, let us know what you thought of it, and I guess let Nate know what you would change in a reball facility, because maybe I will put it up. for
Yeah.
you.
So probably if you have a
That'd be
comment, then maybe do at INI Sports in your comment.
Right.
Because that'll probably catch Nate's attention. And Leon Stiles actually has some pretty cool history also. He actually started, he's from New Zealand. He drove race cars. And I think he started playing paintball in New Zealand. He started playing with Steve Constable's Pursuit Supplies International paintball guns. And I believe he even brought some of those over from New Zealand. And if you're not familiar with the PSI paintball guns, they made the Scorpion Elite, they made the Yellow Jacket, the Stinger, the Hornet, is our internet okay, Paul?
Our internet's okay.
All right,
No one's
great.
complaining.
Seems good.
So they made all of those paint guns in the mid to late 80s and the early 90s, up until I think their last paint gun was the Delta. And the Delta was basically a direct, it's hard to say copy, because the people in New Zealand are pretty adamant about Steve Constable actually turning SMG 60s into inline blowbacks. And somehow he actually has a good relationship with Tippmann too. Yeah, his last version was the Delta, and it was very similar to the 68 Special. It used a slip fit barrel. It used a.
Do you have any of those?
I do.
Jack Water said Leon was a U.S. rally champion.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what he raced as rally.
Wow,
Cool.
really?
Yeah.
That's intense.
I think he probably still does race that. But yeah, he went on to open various paintball fields. I don't know if he ever had a paintball field in New
And
Zealand.
I think he went back to New Zealand.
Yeah, so supposedly he went back to New Zealand now, but he did run Tombstone. That field he ran. I think there were several other Tombstones. The Tombstone I
Right.
played out was in like 2010, and it was in Colton. And that's the one that closed a couple years ago and turned into, whatever it is now. All-Star
Paranoid
Games.
Paintball.
What's up?
Is it Paranoid Paintball now?
What is it?
Paranoid. Oh no, Colton. Sorry,
No,
that's,
no.
that's different. Yeah,
I don't know
that's SoCal.
Paranoid Paintball, but yeah, it's AAG.
Central California.
ASG, All-Star
Kind of
Games.
SoCal. Yeah, up north.
Yeah.
I don't know that. What city?
I'm not too sure actually. I think it's like a little bit north of Central Paintball. I've played there like once or twice when I lived in Santa Barbara.
Okay,
Nice
like
field.
on the coast side.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know anything. On the
If you
coast
know
side of
anything
Florida.
about Paranoid Paintball, then bring up some memories for Paul, because he's pretty paranoid
Yeah.
about it right now.
And if anybody has any tech questions,
Yeah, if you want to
you
know
got
why
PB Tek
you're
with us right now. The number one paintball tech in the world.
We actually have a question for Benji.
Wait. I just got to address something. You said number one paintball tech in the world. I was under the impression that Jorge Cervantes was the number one paintball tech.
Number 2.
Okay. No, Jorge's number 2 or Tim's? Okay, Tim's number 2.
No one can beat Jorge, but he's normally too busy.
Yeah,
so
if you guys have work, you can't send it to Jorge. You got to send it to Tim. So
what's the question?
Okay, Bosco and Associates sounds like it actually sounds like Connor, but
no, it's not Connor.
It says, "Hey guys, I got an Autococker trilogy for $200. Is that good?"
No.
It depends. Is it the pneumatic assist trigger one? I mean, even that one isn't worth $200.
Well,
but
someone
those ones are
sent
pretty cool.
me a picture this week of his trilogy that he had half blocked. It was more like a spanky trilogy. If you get what I mean, he
I
had
have no idea
chopped
what you
big
mean.
pieces out so you could see the bolt and you could see some of the lower internals,
yeah.
and it was pretty hideous.
I mean,
It's
Alec.
pretty hideous.
It was pretty
Yeah,
hideous.
it's pretty ugly.
The
Alec.
trilogy started pretty ugly, so.
Well, Alec from Warboys, his Instagram name is Filthy McNasty. He has a pretty sick trilogy that he actually
Shoots
has
nice.
ripping pretty
Yeah.
quick.
There's a trilogy that
I actually love
Derek
the trilogy.
has.
Yeah, Derek has a Palmerized one. Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Craig built a trilogy with all Palmer Performance parts. He did a
The Valve.
tune job on it, the valve, the
Actually,
LPR.
I think does Chris Tregarthen have one of those too? I know one of the Hitmen.
There was a Palmer gun?
No, it was a trilogy.
He does. He
that
has a purple.
uses
He has a purple trilogy that he
almost
uses.
exclusively.
The one that
Yeah.
Derek had was one that Craig built up and had it on sale at the shop. I think it was like $400 when he sold it. But like someone bought it and ended up selling it to Derek for like $200 or something. He still has that gun, I think. That's
Derek
a really
Roberts?
nice shooting trilogy. Derek Roberts from
Fog Dock.
Fog Dock.
Yeah, so I like the trilogy. I think it's it might not have the best looks and it might not have the best material for the body, but I think they're pretty cool.
It's a decent gun. It's a decent platform. But they're not worth a ton.
No, they're not worth $400.
No,
but
very rarely.
maybe $200. I don't know. I would like to
Derek.
have one of the pneumatic assist trigger ones eventually. Are those the select fires? Is that what they're called?
You mean the ones they build the new, the mag new mags
Yeah.
off of? Yeah, you have to have a trilogy SF. So you could do.
I mean, I actually like the trilogy tactical a little bit. It's got a nice body.
Yeah, those
style.
ones are pretty
you
cool.
could do
too.
you take the trilogy SF frame and you could put it on any cocker and turn it into a real cocker. It doesn't have to be a trilogy, but that's the frame you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you could do it with other frames, but that one I think is a little bit more geared to it.
It's the easiest to
Right?
do with. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it has
Other
all the
than,
holes
hyperframe.
for the airlines
Yeah.
run.
Bam! Stick a hyperframe on any cocker. That's an e-cocker.
Well, that's the e-cocker. Yeah.
We're not talking about e-cockers,
okay.
Benji. Come on.
Talking about
Get your
new-
head in the game.
He's talking about like pneumatic assist, like
Pneumatic
running,
assist.
Okay.
Homie.
like the SMAV valve for the actuation or
Well,
whatever.
when he says it's no Dralian, which actually Kevin Foote I think was had a good shooting Dralian. Was
So
that you?
Benji just picked up his push bag. He got that at Vegas last weekend.
Yeah. How do you like your
From the
push
push
bag?
bag.
Yeah.
I was actually I was
it's-
drinking with one of their reps last night with Mike.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I do like
Mike
it.
at GOG or a different
Mike,
mic?
yeah.
The
Mike,
one thing
yeah.
that I was a little bit bummed at was my laptop was too big to fit in the laptop slot.
But you
How-
have that
what's your
problem
laptop, a
pretty.
17-inch or 15?
17 inch.
You have that problem
Okay.
pretty often,
So it's
right?
standard.
Too big to
So
fit.
a 15-inch would probably fit
yeah.
the 17,
Oh, yeah.
just not.
Yeah, 15 for sure would fit. This was so slightly unable to fit, so a 16 would probably fit. But it's got this big opening in the top that I guess you're supposed to put your dirty clothes in at the end of the day. So I was just sliding it in there because it still uses the padding on the back. And yeah, it's been working pretty nicely.
Did you guys
So-
see anything cool in Vegas while you were there?
I saw some pros shooting the CS2s,
Okay.
which was cool. What else?
What was the picture you sent of the CS2? Did you buy one?
No, that's actually
looking for something. Can't
Santucci's.
find it.
Chris Santucci's. My friend bought a CS2, I think, from the Santucci's. And then he just took a picture of Chris's.
Gotcha.
I don't know why he did that.
So
Yeah,
I
'cause
thought those
they're-
weren't for sale yet.
They're not really. So Santucci is a Planet Eclipse master service center.
Yeah.
So they get guns before before anybody else really, and they do testing on them and stuff like that. So, and then there's like an army of Eclipse testers that get guns, you know, like a year in advance of everything.
Wow,
So.
I didn't know that.
Like the GMEC, like there were guys who had GMECs, you know,
Anthony
last
said he
year.
posted.
Wow.
Or Anthony posted that he
cool.
had one a long time ago, right?
Yeah, Anthony D'Ambrosio. He wasn't one of the testers, but one of the testers is a good friend of both of ours. So we got to check that out, you know, long ago.
Yeah, whenever I have something wrong with my Planet Eclipse gun, I take it to most of the time Steve.
Yeah,
Steve
is the master tech. His brother also works on guns, but he's not like technically employed by Planet, I guess you would
I
say.
see. Okay. Yeah, they're good people, man.
Yeah, very
good
much so.
family.
As a real
Chris isn't employed by Eclipse?
Not by Planet, no.
Oh.
As a real quick aside, do you know exactly how that drop-in kit works with the G-Tech? Would you consider that mechanical? Because I saw
It is.
Sean, SoCal Zoom Cam.
SoCal Zoom Cam. He had one up at the PBSL 10K, and you could just walk it. So I'm like, are we considering that mech if you can just
It's mechanical.
walk it?
The GMEC?
It wasn't a G-Mech with a single trigger frame. It had that drop-in kit. that
Oh, you
uses-
mean the Legacy kit?
Yes. So how does that work? Is that pure mech?
I mean, it is.
Yes,
pure Mac.
it is. So, actually, Anthony from Boston got one of those kits and did a video on it, and it was like night and day comparing the stock GMEC to the Legacy kit in a GMEC. Just because of the way the Legacy kit is built, it makes it so much easier to cycle the gun and you don't have to change out the double trigger on it.
Right.
So
And the same kit
Yeah.
can go on
the 160R or the standard G-Tech.
So
Yeah.
who would actually get the G-Mech frame now that you could just drop it in and keep your double trigger and rip on it and do
There's
all
an
that?
issue though, because a lot of the tournaments that are the Legacy style tournaments, you know, Classic Series and stuff like that, are saying that they're not going to allow the Legacy modded,
Specifically the Legacy.
specifically that Legacy modded frame.
Because it's just not going with what it's
Because
all about.
because in their words, it doesn't fit the spirit of the tournament, whatever the hell that means.
I would tend
But I
to
mean-
agree.
No, I get that, but it's like you're just going back to the arms race at that point, right? So
Right.
I understand it. I mean, but
I mean, should they have to use things that were built before 2000? You know, like
Yeah, then you
should
get
they,
into the
should they
semantics of
even
things
allow
like
the
that.
gunfighter frame? Should they allow any new style frames? Or if we're doing legacy type events, should it be pure legacy?
well, I mean, they allow electronic guns as
Your
long as
magazine-
they're capped at 5.5.
your magazine
though,
got wet,
so-
then, G.
Right. So I'm like, if you're going to start limiting things, maybe make it a pure pre-1998 event. I don't know. I know they're
I mean, there's
afraid.
plenty of
They're
gear
afraid
out
that
there
people
that-
won't be able to attend. That
Right, and I mean
I
they've
think
got
it's a cop out.
a little bit, yeah, but
As
I
if
mean,
there's
here-
not enough 01 cockers and mags and
right. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where like I don't like the fact that they're disallowing the mod, but I see why they're doing it. I think there's other ways of getting around it, like like doing a legacy modded G-Tech, and then using a single trigger shoe for it instead of allowing a double trigger or something like that.
so no walking triggers.
You want to sit here?
Yeah.
Which one are you going
I
with?
can
now?
see that.
On a
That's
mechanical
reasonable.
gun.
Not
Because
yet?
like then you can you go with like the hair mag, which is the same thing.
Okay. Not great.
And there's guys who've built new mags.
I don't think
That,
they're allowing
you know-
new mags in these events either.
Right, and RT is the same thing. So
Right.
that trigger kind of falls into that same category.
So here's an ad for Spanky that I thought was pretty cool. I hadn't seen before, and it shows the yin yang bodies. And actually, that body that I had that's
Feel the
missing the
power.
tubes.
Yeah.
I actually found some tubes for it that came from Paul
Cool.
in my room. Yeah.
So Michael Early was asking how my butt feels after the heart attack grill in Vegas. So anyone who
The
hasn't
remake?
been there, if you don't finish your order, you get spanked by the waitresses. So I got spanked, and they do not hold back. That woman was about as tall as I was, and she put everything into it.
That was hot.
It hurts to sit now.
Paul,
I still got a great video of that.
Paul
Great.
was
Send
saying,
it-
You gotta send me that.
Richie.
I got
You
you.
have to send me that.
Paul was saying today that he really regretted not getting spanked. He actually wanted to get his.
Did you finish your
What's
food?
that?
His sack
no, that's
stomped.
way too much.
What did
food.
you get? A
A
double?
double with 10 bacon slices.
For the record, I had a single. I was the biggest guy at the table, and I got a single burger.
And did you
And
finish it?
I finished it, but that
Nice.
was a lot of food.
Did you get the bacon?
Yeah.
with it?
I got
It's a single and it's a
with
double,
bacon.
but they're
Way
like
too much bacon.
that
Hey,
freaking thick.
Devin's not.
Dude, it's a
messaging,
double,
is he?
wasn't I? As big
He
as
just
my
thought
head.
Oh
we
yeah,
were
no,
gonna-
it was
So
massive.
humongous,
Who knows
yeah.
if
And then
they'll
and then
come later.
Okay. I mean,
Mike
you
and
can
Mike
tell
both
him,
got
you know, he's
triples.
welcome
And it was just like
anytime.
Yeah, I told
bad
him.
life
Okay.
choices.
Yeah.
Like this was a mistake.
They weren't even close
Like
to finishing
the burger
theirs.
was literally like that tall.
It was
I
insane.
was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. And then Benji got a chocolate milkshake there.
Oh my
The buttercream
Lord.
chocolate
That
milkshake.
looked-
Yeah, I
That
got
looked
a
disgusting.
chocolate buttercream milkshake, except it's just a chocolate soft serve shake with a slab of butter.
in
A
it.
cho- yeah,
A
chocolate
literal
butter on it.
slab of
Yeah, that
butter
looked
on the
really,
top. And I was like, is
really
that like
gross.
icing?
Like,
like-
no, it's butter.
No,
butter.
Straight up butter. And I was like, well, they sell it. Hopefully it's good. And I took a bite out of it. It's not.
The shake wasn't
It's
good.
just
No.
butter. It's
Look at
just
this.
butter and,
Here's,
and chocolate icing.
I don't know what team this is, but they're playing
It
with.
should
They have
say.
the like.
They
yeah,
got the Z
Z
leader.
leaders.
So we have a question from Dirk Gadberry.
Yes.
Oh,
For
on
all,
YouTube?
all three of you guys, are you guys going to spew?
Yes. For sure.
Tentatively. So the first event for the CEPL League, which is in Sacramento, it's Dave Bain's league, is the same damn weekend as Spew, which is the same thing they did fucking last year, which is why I didn't go last year because I was working that event. However, what, Spew is next weekend?
Next weekend.
Right, so
Bakersfield.
usually a week before that event, sorry,
Yeah, don't touch where I'm gonna put my lips. That's disgusting. I don't want to get your cooties.
Don't touch my butt then.
it came from him. Blame the redhead next to you because he was the one who was sick first. Anyway,
Cooties
so
or-
no,
Wait,
the-
did you get
the-
sick
the
from
butt?
Benji's? Because he was dying.
Whatever the hell it was, yeah, I've got a sore throat, like
Oh
a
my
raspy
gosh.
throat. It goes away over the course of the day,
Ugh.
but I wake up and feel just like crap.
Yeah,
for
There's
like 2
beers in the
hours.
fridge.
I'm good. We
So-
Anyway, so yeah,
Oh
so
yeah, you can't even drink.
usually a
right?
week before that event, like I'll get a call from Jerry and tell me whether or not I'm going, and I haven't heard anything from him yet, so I'm probably not going to be at the Eclipse Open, which is kind of lame because it's the Eclipse Open and they don't have a tech.
but you'll be at
Uh-oh.
Spew.
But I'll be going to Spew
Woo!
if I'm not there.
Okay,
So
so,
if anybody
we'll all be
has-
going to Paul. You going to Spew?
Wait.
In theory, I'm going to Spew.
If I have my Eclipse Sterling there and I'm playing with it, can you fix it? Can you get me Sterling parts and service it for me?
You talk to Koa for that.
What about my Eclipse Sovereign? Can you service that for me?
Yes, but your warranty is long gone.
I thought it was lifetime.
No,
I was under the impression when I bought those
No.
that it was lifetime warranty.
You definitely not.
So Paul, are you going to be
Eclipse
there?
is 1 year warranty.
If I do go, it's gonna be Saturday and Sunday.
So
After
if,
class.
if people bought
After
their
cla- so you're gonna go up after class on Saturday and go home.
On Sunday night.
Hey Paul, so I don't,
you're
I
not
don't
gonna
have
go back
YouTube.
on Saturday night and then come back
I don't
on
have
Sunday
YouTube
after
up here, so there's a bunch of questions on YouTube that I
YouTube?
can't really make out.
Okay.
Unless Dan, can you zoom in on that YouTube?
Wait. We have another question from Anthony D'Ambrosio.
Hey Anthony, you need to stop asking questions.
Anthony says, by the way, he's already working on a single trigger for the Legacy.
Nice.
Cool.
So.
His question is, how did everyone's NXL picks pan out from last week?
Yeah, so
I did
Paul
great. I won.
did
No, you
the
didn't.
scores. Who won, Paul? Give us the scores.
I killed, like, all of my teams got basically top 3.
Yep.
Besides one division, I forgot.
What teams did you pick?
So for D3, I chose
DMG.
Raw
More questions.
Material. Raw Material.
Give
They
us
got
some of the
second
questions.
place.
Is this?
For D2, I chose Plum Life. They didn't get the top 3.
This is
Plum Life got
newest right
like
here, right?
wrecked, didn't they?
No, they made
Oh.
Sunday, but they got wrecked on Sunday.
Oh.
Benji chose Camp Pendleton Raiders for
Secret
D2, and they
and
won.
they did win.
Yeah,
so
and
that's what kept me from being dead last. which is
Exactly.
good.
D1, I chose
So,
San Diego
good
Aftermath, first place.
Did last.
Pro, I got Impact. I chose Impact, first place.
The
Pump.
top 3 teams in Pro were all shooting CS2s.
There you go. See,
Pump,
Planet Eclipse
Hitman.
makes great
Obviously.
guns.
They are killing it.
Yeah, and then for Pump, I chose Hitman. They got first place. And then,
Of course I did.
I
Yeah.
chose Hitman.
no, I chose Hitman.
No.
No,
I
you
chose
chose
Hitman.
You chose a PBS all crew. And then Dan chose
AutoCockerParts.com.
Yeah, exactly.
They got
AutoCockerParts.com,
second,
but
right?
second place, yeah.
Yeah.
Benji chose PBSO. I specifically remember. Because I was like,
Might have to rewatch the stream there and see. I still got my money on AutoCockerParts.com.
well, they got second place, which
Gene
isn't
was
bad
there,
against
wasn't
like
he? Yeah.
I still got my money on AutoCockerParts.com. So they're coming. They're gonna come through on this win. You just wait.
But yeah,
Slow burn.
Dan
on that
got last place because he chose DMG for every single division.
So how did
besides
DMG do? I didn't
They did-
check
I
anything.
don't think they got like podium in any.
Yeah, but how did they do?
I gotta go
Not
through
well.
our chat, but
Yeah, you got to go through and check.
they did pretty bad. And Benji got second place, but I still crushed it.
Well, what was the
You
point
crushed
score?
Killing it.
I think I won by like 5,000 points.
I had 100. You had like 50. Benji had 0.
I think
Is
you
that-
won by like 50 points.
Yeah.
Ooh, K-pop 3 right there.
Okay, we got some questions. Tim, does anyone know a good source for O-rings for a die rocket 3-way?
Wow.
Oh, because the die 3-ways are notoriously picky on what O-rings you have. Usually I custom fit them to the damn switches. I want to say they're 006s, -006.
And where can you get them?
People are always talking shit on 06s in dies though, in the die 3-ways.
That's the thing. Like there's some die 3-ways that 6s work fine in. There's some that they're like super tight in. I think it's just a quality control issue with those stupid 3-ways.
So
it might have been that they just used like really soft O-rings.
Speaking of die, you just went to die, and
I just went and took a quick tour with Glenn. Yeah.
so what's the die
that's
autococker? What's the status on the die autococker? Give us some updates.
What die autococker?
He's faking it. He knows all about it. Die autococker coming out next week.
Yeah, right.
It's coming out next week. It's dropping soon.
Okay, we got a couple more questions. What Blind Man asks, what's a reasonable price for a 2K5 Dragon, Timmy? I'm
It
gonna
depends
say
on what condition it's in and what parts are on.
Is
it.
that a ripper? Or
around
dragon?
350.
No,
or is that
dragon is
different?
dragon.
Around 350.
Dragon on the floor or like dragon in the
If
sky?
it's-
Oh,
Dragon
I mean,
on
if
the
it's
sand.
if it's got
In the
a
sand.
gear drive on it, if it's got
Like if
some
it's
primo parts
okay.
fully,
Break it down.
if
What's
it's
a
like
gear drive?
the ASA.
on off.
So
Blah,
like
blah, blah.
so if
On,
if you've got a
off?
dragon, it's all original. It's all got the
Like duckbill?
if you've got the original like 2K2 dragon, that's on the lower end just because of the parts. Like
Right.
even
I've
if it's
seen
in
a
really
couple
good shape,
2K2 Dragons going for
like
250,
275. Yeah, like 275 the highest.
250-ish.
But if you've got one that's like completely built with a nice anno with the 2K5
Perfect stock
upgrades,
parts. I mean, even a 2K2 in
Oh, you want to get over
great
here?
shape
Trade
with
seats.
stock
I'm trading seats
parts,
with
stock box, you will get 325.
yeah. But I mean, like if you're looking at like a pristine like 2K5 dragon, I would say like 350, maybe 375 or 400 for the right person who's
Right.
looking for something.
So there you go.
And they do exist.
We have a question from Chris Van Horn. What year do you think that orange urban camo Phantom is?
I have no
Call up
clue.
Mike and ask.
I want that now that I've seen it.
It
so.
sold like in like a day, right?
Yeah, to Chris. He
Yeah.
bought it.
Oh, okay.
Chris
Got
bought
it.
it.
So I had no
Where
idea.
was that for sale?
On MCB, I think. I had
That's
no
nice.
idea that like the red urban was around, and I had no idea that orange urban existed. I have the gray, and I know that there was woodland, which I wasn't a huge fan of, and I have a blue urban, but I never saw red and I never saw orange until there was a red one that got posted on Facebook that somebody had, and then Chris just showed me the orange. I was like, need those for
Yeah,
my
those are
collection.
nice.
Like, that's
I haven't
that's
had
my
any
favorite.
really nice Phantoms recently, but I've had a lot of the really nice colors back in the day. I had
the acid
like,
washes and splashes and things.
Oh yeah, I had like that urban acid wash with
Do you
like
have
a
that?
million pieces.
Did
Yeah.
you bring that rail, Benji?
I did not.
Oh, nice.
They're
I forgot.
Dan, do you have? Oh no, they're posted on my page. There's photos that we took when we went to CCI
Yeah.
of the very first
Those
guns.
were photos of his photos.
Yeah, pictures of Mike's pictures of the very first guns that were done by PK, I think it was, in like a splash ammo.
Confirmed.
PK's analyzing company.
Yeah, like
They do really nice
Mike
anos.
said that he was one of, if not the first, to actually have paintball guns done by PK.
right.
So,
And then like those Phantoms were specifically the first ones that were done like in that like a funky splash that the PK did at the time.
Yeah, was it blue gold?
Yeah, blue
and
with gold splash.
Or a blue base with a gold splash.
Is PK still around?
PK is still around. So there's PK Select exists in Northern California. They're in like Santa Clara, San Jose area. So there was a Thunderstruck Angel, a Thunderstruck LCD Cobra that came up for sale just recently actually. And it was put up on eBay, just listed as an Infinity Angel, like no description, no nothing.
Ooh.
And the guy who put it up like posted it at night and woke up the next morning obviously to like 30 messages and emails like, yeah, hey, do you know what that is? Or like, hey, that's not worth anything, I'll give you like $300 to close the auction right now. And so obviously he got suspicious and went on Facebook and was like, hey, I posted this angel on eBay, like what's the story? And like found, you know, the angel groups. And it turns out that the owner of PK had that gun and had sold the anodizing company 6 months prior. The gun, the Thunderstruck Angel, was his personal gun that he got, probably as a gift from, you know, Cobra for doing work for them in the past. And the guy who was selling it was his nephew, and he had gifted the gun to him. And he was like, well, I don't know what it is, I don't play. And he was like, I was only expecting to get a couple $100 out of it. Thing sold for like $2,200.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
Does
that's...
Chris have one? I can't remember.
Chris does have
That's
a
an expensive
Thunderstruck,
angel.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also my favorite.
But yeah, so PK does still exist, but it's a different owner now.
Yeah, and speaking of angels, here's the, this is from the February 2000 Paintball magazine. This is the 1999 NPPL Championship Avalanche, and there's Chris Lasoya, who we raised money for the other week with his,
Looks like a dark.
what is it, Dark Angel, something like that.
Like a dark LED.
A little update for that, we raised over $6,000 for him.
Nice.
So anybody who wanted to know, there you go. A lot of the prizes have gone out. Still have some prizes going out, and we're still missing 4 of the winners. So check your email.
If you don't claim him, I
winners.
will. So.
Yeah. There you go.
And by the way, we didn't keep any of the money. It went all to Chris.
100%.
150% all went to Chris.
Not 150%. We didn't give him extra money. 100%. We gave 150% effort.
180%.
195%.
Damn it.
So another thing about the whole PK Anno thing, right? There's a current company that's open now in Santa Clara called Arnold's Metal Finishing. That company was started by guys who used to work at PK. So they have some of the best graphic anno guys in the business now. Well, not necessarily graphic anno, but like acid washes and splashes. Like we've used them in the past for some of the Boston guns, and they come out phenomenally.
Who is
well.
it that did the CCM like very solid color, like I don't know what? It's not a splash. I guess it is kind of a splash. They also did the blazers for the camo blazers for Craig. Who is it that did those, Tim?
The camo blazers?
Yeah, you know those like.
Or Lowry's Blazer.
No, they're like camo. You know the CCM guns with like the very solid blocks of colors. Splashes.
You mean like the Hyperball camo one?
Sure.
Sure.
Here, let me pull it up that way.
Yeah, and actually, anodizing might be going up significantly. I was talking to
As far as
Paul
cost?
Schreck, who was saying that across the board, he and everybody he knows who gets significant anodizing runs done has just gotten messages saying that it's pretty much going to double in cost.
What?
He's not
Why?
sure if it's because the state is raising the cost on, I don't know, some chemicals or exactly what, but basically it's not going to be all too affordable to get anodizing done, at least in California. So if anybody knows more about that, feel free to message us. I'd like to know more. So
Well, my favorite anodizer right now is FX Anodizing. I don't know where they're out of.
That's Mario. He's
he's awesome.
Texas right now.
And
FX, I used to love just going on that gallery
Oh yeah,
and
it's
scrolling
awesome.
through the stuff that he's done.
Mario's a really good friend of mine.
Nice.
When he started doing anodizing, I sent a ton of people his way because his stuff is phenomenal. He actually has his original background was in jewelry and jewelry design and jewelry making, and so he's got an artist background first and foremost. So doing anno was just kind of
Right.
his natural progression of things.
And And so Anthony says chemical disposal fees.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, the
that's
whole
crazy. Does
EPA.
that mean the prices on guns, period, are going to go up?
Not necessarily.
We're
It
gonna
just
see.
depends. I mean,
And who ran A+ Anno? Because that was also
I
one of
do
the
not know.
sickest ones.
Anthony might know who ran A+, because
Anthony,
Anthony
any
had-
ideas?
did some work with them in the past.
They also did some really nice mill jobs.
Yeah, Anthony has an A+ DM4, which I want.
Yeah, I
That
had
gun
an
is sick.
A+ DM5. It had
The one with the cutouts and everything.
It
the
had-
super.
All right.
it was camo. It was really bare bones, almost just like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
tubes.
Yeah.
It had some issues, but it was pretty crazy.
So it took me a while, but I got the image up of Chris's Phantom. This is a photo that Chris
The Urban?
Warren took, so you can see it behind you now. If you guys want to send me photos of any of the other guns that you're referencing,
there's a giant green screen behind me. I can't see.
well, if you look on the screen, then,
Oh, I
see
see it.
Paul sees it.
I see it.
Tim, you might be blind. You should get that checked
I'm,
out.
I'm probably blind.
Get that checked
Blind.
out.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Still
I'm
nothing.
not looking at any pictures or anything or comments, but I probably should be. Let me close all my other junk.
Wow, yeah, that's a nice color. Okay.
Oh yeah, that the Phantom. Chris has like all the cool shit, man.
He has a
Chris
lot
and
of nice
Tim.
stuff. He has a lot of nice stuff.
Chris, Tim, and Tim.
Chris, Tim, and
Kerrigan.
Chris, Tim, and Tim. Yeah,
Tim,
dude.
and
Tim Kerrigan
Tell
has
Kerrigan to come get his
crazy
gun.
stuff.
I still have his pro stock in my
Mhm.
car for him.
man.
Tim,
he's
are you
in-
going to
he's
NXL
here.
Dallas?
No, because that is the same weekend as Super Game, which I will be at, and
That's
I'm working
right.
for Playing Eclipse at Super Game.
So who's going to Super Game?
I'd rather go to Super Game than NXL.
But you're not going to Super Game.
When is it? Next month?
May
The same day as NXL
4th,
Dallas.
5th?
Yeah, the first weekend of May.
If I do
And then
go,
Legends is usually the last weekend of May.
if I
not my beer.
if,
Now I have Paul's cookies.
oh, you about to get the herps now, dude.
The HIV.
The herps.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, if I do go to Super Game, it's Bocce's gonna buy me my flight, so.
Nice.
You guys got to Benji. Benji bought me my flight.
Look at that reaction.
Oh yeah, you got to give me money.
Yeah.
How much
Yeah,
were
it's
flights to Super Game?
I think we paid 140
Oh, that's not bad.
round trip.
Benji
Oh, that's
scooped
awesome.
up the deal.
It was a good deal. And we're going to be playing Renegades.
I gotta get some cookies or something.
Are you guys playing tomorrow? I am not.
I'm not.
I am
am
taking a week
It's
off
raining tomorrow, right?
before we do Spew and then PBSL finale and more stuff. So taking 1 week off to spend with the wifey, aka the left.
By the way, this shoots
no,
awesome.
my real wife.
Take
Yeah.
care of the left hand.
So there you go. You can hang on
Oh,
to that.
it's for me?
For you. I
Oh,
made it
thank
for
you. Oh, hey, you guys heard it. It's for me. Wait, this is sold, right?
Wow. That is sold
For me?
Needs more trigger shoe.
for you. Yeah, I'm gonna put a trigger shoe on that. So this was pretty cool. Dan brought this out. This is a Houston Heat thank you little catalog from 1995. I didn't even know Houston Heat was
Me neither.
around in 95.
Wow.
Is this a rebranding or is this the same Houston Heat?
You gotta ask Brad Nessel. But I believe you guys want any of these. There's a couple cookies.
No
left in there.
thanks.
I
Oh,
want some
So
cookies.
at this
We-
point,
we
Houston
gotta-
Heat was sponsored
Here,
by
open that up.
JT,
I don't know what they
Tasso, PCRI,
It's
Air America, Hardcore Sports,
those are actually pretty
Street
good.
Designs, OTP, Olympic, Paintball Sports, and Viewloader.
I believe it is Houston.
Go
The
shoot
same Houston Heat. Oh, here's
Korean
wow, Rodney Squires
pepper sauce.
got around.
I'm good.
Here he is, dead center.
That's spicy.
Trying to see who else I recognize
Still trying to
here.
find a damn.
Dan also has a gum that we got in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. That's from
Who?
I gave it to him.
What's his name?
Who?
That's
Rabbit
J-Rob?
Rabikoff.
Yeah.
J-Rob. Right?
There you go.
That's
yeah.
Steve Rabikoff. Steve.
Oh, is that
the
Steve?
dad, yeah.
Very cool.
Wow. You used to play on
This
Houston
is
Heat,
a.
huh?
Where did you get this, Dan?
That came from a woman who worked at the RPS PMI paint facility in Florida. And when they closed down, I think she scooped a bunch of these things out of the dumpster.
Yeah. This is.
By the
This is
dumpster?
pretty cool.
Dan gets lots of dumpster
She
finds.
might have been the manager there.
I guess in the 90s, like, they didn't really care about shit like this. But now it's like gold.
I mean, if you have a company that's like a multi-million-dollar company you're closing out, you're probably not going to
Oh yeah, don't get me started. I was talking with Paul about no, other Paul, Shrek, about what company was it that had all the WGP bodies and
Scrapped them.
scrapped them?
Was it
Do you know? B&M. Yeah, he was saying that they
Threw that shit
they
away?
scrapped like 400 to 1,000 bodies, including
they found
one-off bodies, custom milled prototype bodies.
Is this the one you're
They
talking
all
about?
went
That
straight
ammo?
to the dump, and he melted them down for scrap metal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was all
Okay.
proud, and Paul Shrek was like, I would have bought him. And he's like, oh, I got $1,400 for scrap metal out of him. And
Wow.
he's like,
I would have
want
given
to
you
kill
way
you.
much. Yeah, way
Yeah.
Eh,
Luckily,
That's-
Paul did save a lot of guns from getting scrapped by Brock.
Yeah,
Me?
I think it was the same thing
more.
for...
I absolutely hate.
Yeah, it was the
hearing
same thing for
stories about that.
WGP. They were just throwing out
Wait,
bodies.
Did Tim just say he absolutely hates Paul?
No, I absolutely hate hearing stories about that. Like when you hear about a shop that gets bought out and like whoever the new owner is just goes through and like just clears off the shelves and throws
That's
all
what
the
Rosette
stuff
wants
away.
to do to my room. So
Well, yeah.
She's the new owner.
Let
So
me know
thi-
when that happens so I
so
can
thi-
stand
this
next to
ammo.
dump it.
This ammo is the one you were
yeah,
looking at.
exactly.
This
if you
is
want to email me that picture, I'll put it. In
this is max ammo.
Oh my gosh, that is nice.
That's
So
what they
Max
call
Anna did
hybrid
a lot of
ammo.
really cool patterns for CCM and for Palmer's.
If you look up on the Wayback Machine, their
See,
website
no,
has a
this is-
gallery with all of them on it. But here, I'll show it to you.
Okay,
We
Jao
Facebook
Quinn, is
you
that
or-
how you pronounce your name?
Joaquin.
Joaquin?
Joaquin.
Oh, like yeah.
What did you say?
I said Jao Quinn.
Yao Queen.
Joaquin.
Jao Quinn, how are
Yao
you?
Queen, how are you?
Jao Quinn! Oh my
Jesus
god.
Christ.
Are those
Yeah.
seaweed chips?
Yeah, okay.
You want those?
Are they good?
So here's
Pretty
another
good.
cool thing Dan brought out. This is a junior Marine team
Seal it up. Does it seal?
book. Does what seal? Does that say? Yeah. This is a junior Marine team little catalog book. It's got a picture of the junior Marine team. It was written by Jim Gunny Miller.
So that's who owns Jungle Island.
Okay.
It's Gunny.
To answer Kerrigan's
And he was the
question quite a
captain.
bit,
Yeah, go ahead.
unfortunately.
Oh god, this smells horrible. Oh god. Are they good though? Taste
They're
wise?
good. They're awesome.
Paul's like, yeah.
What do you think, Dan?
I don't know.
Are they spicy?
No.
They're not good.
They're like mild. Wow, Dan's hating on the gochujang, man.
They're not good.
That's how you
but they're
pronounce
not
it?
bad either. It's spicy and sweet.
Gochujang.
Okay, here, Tim. Here's a tech question. There was a three-way leak, and he got it to stop by adjusting the collar,
Okay.
and now it is chopping and short stroking.
R.I.P.
It is
your
chopping
dad.
and possibly short stroking.
Yeah, Ziv, you just gotta give me that gun. It's doomed. Just give it to me.
So
Who was
then
it
you,
that wrote
you,
that?
you have to
Jordan
adjust the
Ziv.
other part of your timing to
Jordan
compensate.
Ziv.
The other, all right, there
So
you
that
go.
would
I'll
be-
message him. That was
that-
just on my Facebook.
He's just, Benji's just like taking advantage of me.
Yeah.
Here. Like, answer this other guy who asked me a question last week.
Yep.
So yeah, if you adjust your timing on your collar to get rid of a leak, then you have to adjust your lug height to compensate. Otherwise, it's going to throw your timing out of whack.
Okay.
So a couple comments. Michael Burkhart sent a link to his website, and
Yeah, I just saw
this
that.
is a website that he did, I think, for school, and he posts a lot of he posted a lot of PBSL stuff on it. I checked it out a while ago, but that's in the comments. Anthony posts it's like the reflex story. So what's the reflex story, Tim?
Oh yeah, so obviously the Boston Reflex guns, the ones that or the RT autococker kits.
Yeah.
When Boston moved from whatever their previous facility was to their current one, I think it was that move.
Yeah.
They had boxes full of like reflex parts,
Yeah.
and they were just
Is
like,
that one of the boxes that I got?
I don't know if that was it, but like they told Anthony, they were like, yeah, just like throw this stuff out, and he was like taking parts and just like putting in the garbage can, just like oh, fuck that, and like took them out and like brought them home, like. But yeah, they threw away a ton of stuff that was just like history.
How
What,
many of the-
kind of stuff?
How many of the reflexes did they originally make?
I don't know how many were made.
People are always like, "Oh, there's only 10 of them," which is bullshit.
No,
but
the number that we've figured out to the best of our knowledge is 27.
no, there's probably like at least 100. Don't you think?
Not complete. Like, so there was, from what Anthony and I've looked up, there were 7 like kits sold as just bolt-on kits for other guns, and there was about 20 guns that were sold with kits on them.
Yeah.
Not necessarily twisters, but like expresses
So
or
they
standard
probably
cockers.
made 50 or 100.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, and then that that exists in the spare parts that we have that Anthony has.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a limit. You know, there's not a ton of frames. There's not a ton of blocks, and that's kind of what you have to have. Yeah, I mean the other parts are mostly just bolt-on, clippered parts, or whatever.
Oh.
Hey, don't be destroying my.
We're not destroying. All right, so Paul is gonna read off the Junior Marine Team
I actually
Creed.
pulled that out because I was hoping that Eric would be in there, Eric Lavari, because he played with Marine Team for a few events. But Todd Martinez is in
Todd Martinez.
all of those photos. Wow. Yeah.
It is not the critic who counts, nor the one who points out the strongman stumbled, or how the strongman stumbled, or how the doer of deeds might have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with sweat and dust and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who know the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who, if he wins, knows the triumph of high achievement, and who, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat.
Wow, that was really touching. Good job, Paul.
That was cool.
You are
I
great
fucked that up.
at reading
Bad.
Yeah.
paragraphs.
Great at reading English.
Was he?
English. Connor would probably have something nice to say to that. Oh man, there's a bunch of
Yes.
comments.
Wow, where Todd Martinez is in this picture?
Let's see.
The
It's
7
like a kid.
characteristics of a
He's like
champion.
all of them.
Where are you, Todd? That does not look like
We
him.
got some comments. Arnold anodizing is really good. Arnold's is the one that
You
does
like
the hard anode
that
for
would be
CCM,
him.
right?
No,
No.
No.
Arnold's is the company that did the Heritage
That's
run
it.
for Boston, though.
Oh. Who does the hard anode for CCM?
That would be Chico Metal Finishing, but they do not do stripping, and they also do not do polishing.
Tim Kerrigan says Chico does the CCM guns.
Correct.
Should've just
That's
read
what I
that.
just said.
That's what I get for not even reading.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
Michael. Forget you.
All right, Dan.
Would
take
you
your
like to know
seat
the
back.
Junior Marine Team 7 characteristics of a champion?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Let's read it out.
Let me give me that catalog. I'm gonna just point some things out
I
here.
got the
No.
7 characteristics of a champion.
No, we're
Grabby
good.
hands.
We're good.
Sort of
Okay,
grabby
so
hands.
yeah. All right. Respect, loyalty, honesty, punctuation. Although they say punctual. Punctual. Positive attitude, focused, and effort. Okay, so going through this, we do
Dan
have
respecting
we
history
have
like
the,
you'd expect.
we have the proposed
And
schedule
then grab your
for
hands, number 8.
96, which is kind of cool. We have some photos. There's a lot of photos of Todd Martinez.
Which one is he?
Right here.
The one that looks kind
Oh,
of
there you go.
kind of weird with the funky hair.
I didn't see him in that other photo, but
Yeah.
now I can see it.
He's in almost all of them, you know? See that?
Did his
See
dad
that?
make this?
No, this is something that was sent out for sponsorship from Gunner.
Oh, they have the list of sponsors too.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that was sent to PMI RPS for sponsorship.
So do
Okay.
you have these photos loaded for
Here's-
people to check out?
No.
Here's a pet
You
peeve
take a
of
picture,
mine.
I'll load one up.
So here's a pet peeve of mine as far as current paintball teams go. Like back in the day, if you wanted to be sponsored by a major company, you had to do stuff like this, like have a portfolio of like, you know, who your team was, what your mission statement was, like, you know, who you were associated with, who your other sponsors were, things like that. Now, like guys who have teams will just like go in a store and be like, "Hey, you guys want to sponsor us?"
That's
There's
what
like,
Benji does. He's like, hey, give me a sponsorship for my live stream. Ooh, burn!
Yeah,
Okay,
so
Burn.
send me
what
that.
you
My
need,
live
you
stream.
need
Right.
some literature to hand off to these sponsors.
I've been trying to have these D-bags get me literature, but we will soon enough.
Yeah, but it's like, if you're a team and you want sponsorship for a company, present yourself in a
As
way
someone-
that
Yes.
that makes you look presentable and respectable. Like
for example, you could wear Bushland camo,
obviously,
right? That would
But
be
like,
the number.
yeah.
Or you could wear a Gateway button-up shirt.
that's because
Dan is gonna
cannot
get
work for
beat
them.
by
Or
all
you could
three
wear
of us.
like a Meta
Seriously.
Threads hat and like a nice dress shirt and be holding your beer, right?
So
Those are probably. Or you could wear a Mercenado
Okay,
shirt.
we're gonna have a GoFundMe for beating Dan's ass.
yeah.
Hey, I don't think that
Beating
I don't
his
think that
ass?
costs-
I got $100 on
Pretty
that.
sure you guys could take care of that yourself with what you have right now.
But it's like, so going back to the question though, or the comment.
Yes.
It's like if you go at it, and just are a bunch of little punks, like who's gonna want to sponsor you? Like, and that's the other thing too is people come into a sponsorship position and they go, what is the store gonna do for us? Like, you have to think about what your team is going to do for the store or for the company that's sponsoring you.
Exactly.
Like, that's what sponsorship is supposed to be for. Like, you're supposed to help that company out,
So
and in turn they
It's
will
not
help
really.
you.
It's not a sponsorship. They are advertisers.
Basically, right?
So why do they want to advertise on your jersey their logo? It's
Right.
not sponsoring you. It's not Red Bull. Well, think about what a Red Bull sponsorship for someone like Shaun White.
Right.
What is it for? It's because Shaun White is seen before millions of people when he goes and competes in the Olympics. You see Red Bull. Everyone sees Red Bull. Everyone drinks Red Bull. Everyone flies.
So I just want to point out that Tim is giving everyone the pointers
You
on
can
how to be sponsored by
sponsor.
PaintballTek.com. So right now, I believe Tim is actually sponsoring Jorge Cervantes, trick shot champion. But I don't know who else he's sponsoring. So if anyone is looking for a tech to sponsor them, they should definitely hit up PaintballTek.com. Tim has a little smirk on his face. He's like, and then he gets some real good sponsors.
There you go.
Sponsored teams in this.
So this thing is pretty cool. I wanted to show this off. This is one of Dan's guns. This is an early WGP
cool.
rental that you can actually switch the feed neck on to go either
Reversible
side.
feed,
Reversible
playa.
feed.
That's
So
neat.
left feed or
With the
right
red,
feed.
white,
You
and
just
blue, that's cute.
undo these two screws up here. Standard Allen wrench size. Flip it over and there you go. Right feed. So how many of these do you think there were, Dan?
Well, that one is number 9,
And
and
this thing
actually
does
this
not
body
work.
right here. No, it's not configured to be usable right now. That's my way of saying it doesn't work.
Right.
It's configured to look good in Benji's hands when we show it off.
exactly. It's configured to be on a wall. But if you look at this body right here, you can see that that one is numbered 11, and that's the highest R serial number because these actually have the R prefix on them. So the one that you're holding with the stock that's complete is
R9.
R9, and then the one in your hand is R11. And the one that's complete came from Peter Salgado, who bought it from WGP when WGP was moving. I'm not really sure. I can't remember what he said. But the one that you just set down was found in Aaron Carter's backyard in a bucket filled with water. So he dumped the bucket out, and that is one of the miniguns that fell out of it. And it's rusted solid also. And then the gun that Paul is holding is a Jeff Orr autococker. It's a P-blocked gun with gills. The gills are reversed from Predator gills. But it is, if you look in the P-block, it actually has a matching serial number in the P-block to show that it's the correct P-block for the gun. So, yeah, and that was made for a player in New Jersey. And I can't remember the other details, but I have an article that I started on and never finished. So eventually that will.
And that thing is set up for an old tank.
Yes, an Air America tank, I believe.
And what does it say? It says rough
Yeah.
and tough sports.
Rough and tough sports. I don't know much about rough and tough sports, unfortunately.
You need to get this thing working. This thing would be really fun to use.
So a couple other things you can notice on that is it has the square ASA, it has the hole drilled through the front of the pump handle, which indicates that it is a very early pump handle. Although when I received that, it was just a body, and I put all the other parts on it. So I can't say those parts are correct, but I do know that the reversible feed guns were some of the earliest guns built. Although what I think is that some were built very early, and then others were built a little bit later using the blem bodies, which most of the blem bodies went for the 62 caliber snipers, but some of them went to these bodies, the reversible feeds. And there are reversible feeds that are numbered in the 2600 serial number range, and those were rentals that went to Top Gun.
Top Gun in Jersey?
New Jersey, yeah. Nice. So I'm bringing up a picture behind you guys of from the Marine Team catalog. Actually, you know what I should do is...
and Devin is outside trying to find parking, so maybe we'll see him for a few minutes.
Maybe we'll see Devin. So remember, we are ending
Devin.
at 8:30.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So keep that in mind.
I got lucky.
Homies.
Me too.
Homies.
What gun is this,
Homies?
Bacci?
That's
I love
the
the green
Master
homies.
Blaster. It's the elevator gun. It's
How would you say in Jewett?
pump action.
Homies?
It is
Hummus.
the first one of the
Hummus.
first paint guns that Stan Russell and
It
Aaron
comes
Carter
forward.
as South Bay Arms made. It's a reverse pump action,
Yeah, reverse.
and they made somewhere between 3 and 10 of them. So one for Tim, one for Stan, one for Aaron, and one for one of their friends,
Yeah, that's
and
right, one
possibly
for
a
Tim.
few others.
And that's 68 caliber?
It
One
is
for me?
68 caliber.
Have you shot
and,
that?
I have not shot this one. I have shot Aaron's one, though.
How much would this run for?
The elevator?
Because this is awesome.
It wouldn't run for a price because I don't
Dan,
know.
don't sell
Because
shit.
there's 3 to 10 of them,
Yeah,
period.
yeah. So that one came from Stan Russell. When I did my interview with him, he's like, "Here's my Master Blaster," and he's like, "You wanna," he sold it to me, and I was like, "Awesome." And,
Yeah, that thing is so cool.
And then-
does
and
it
then you-
does it have a clip that goes
And
in
then
the
you
bottom?
put a
No,
pellet in
it
here
actually
when
has-
somebody pisses you
if
off,
you-
like a pellet.
So
No
Tim,
way.
talk to the stream.
Are you serious?
Tell the stream what you're saying there.
Oh, and then when somebody pisses you off, you pull this back and you put a...
Exactly.
177
And Stan
pellet.
Russell said he actually did that to a few people.
Wow.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I was joking
Well,
around.
it loses a lot of velocity because it's
There's
a
like
pellet.
no barrel,
Yeah, going through a 68 caliber barrel. So I don't imagine it would hurt very bad, but it would probably not feel good.
Well, yeah.
So
All right, I'm going to let Devin in, and I'm going to take this to my car.
Said, I'm telling him that you're coming down right now.
okay,
So,
here is
Tim, how does that
Ooh, not
load?
good.
What?
How does that load? Like,
Paintballs
yes,
or
paintballs?
reverse than any other thing? So it's an elevator gun basically. So when you have the pump in the rearward position, the elevator's up to have a ball in the chamber. You pull the handle forward and it drops down, and a ball from the lower tube rolls back. And you pull the pump back and it pushes the elevator up.
Oh my god.
But, oh,
But-
okay.
Connor just had one of the best comments of all time.
That's
He says, like,
amazing.
tossing a hot dog down a hallway, and he's referring to shooting a pellet
Shooting a
out
pellet
of
through
the,
a 68 caliber
out of
barrel.
the 68 caliber barrel. Good job, Connor. That was actually really good. That's your best comment today.
Well played.
Well played.
Well played,
So
sir.
I finally brought up this picture of Marine Team 1.
So here's the
and I'm going to bring up another one in a moment as well.
pull the cap out, and that's your feed tube on the bottom.
You pull that cap out.
No, this cap.
Oh, and then it rolls into there, and
Yeah.
then you.
Yeah,
So
Ah.
tube this way,
It's-
cap it,
it's
and then the paint
rock-
rolls down here. So
rock back to pump.
so
Right, Tim?
so yeah, you have to do what is it? Like
Forward
this?
and up.
Yeah, and
That's
then
cool. Here.
yeah,
That's
it takes a minute to get used to it.
I mean, it's badass.
Yeah,
it's
it's
exactly
basically
how you'd want
it's
it.
rocking back, but opposite the pump handle.
The
Like,
hardest thing is
Dude, you
just-
got to get this working.
Well, the other one works, and it shoots at like 350.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can you not turn it down?
I mean, you can. I just was like,
Why?
not
Because
even
you're not gonna play
try.
with
You
it.
have to freaking use this thing on the field. Like, it's begging to shoot someone
With a pellet,
with a paintball.
a paint pellet.
Jackwater says anyone who gets free shit thinks they're supposed to tell everyone they are. We all know what Jack's talking about. And Jack says, tell Paul to push the pump forward, referring to its reverse pump action. Anthony, Tony Meno, who plays with us in Northern California, says, I want the Sniper 1. Anthony, you have some Sniper 2s that you need to convert to stock class. So why don't you work on those?
And I know why I don't know if we have fewer viewers now, but Katie Deely is doing her live tarot card reading right now, and she's yanking all of our viewers.
I don't
You're
know
watching
what
it,
that-
aren't you? You're
I
getting
don't
your.
know what that means.
I got these 3 ugly people on my
Okay, so
screen.
Tim right now, you know what? Screw her taking our thunder. Tim is gonna do a live crystal ball
Tim,
reading right
no,
now.
What Tim does is he looks at paintball guns and he reads the past and the present.
And he's
the
gonna
future
tell your
of
future
the
over the
paintball.
Master Blaster. Tim, wave your hands over the glorious
Tim.
Master Blaster and tell us the future of Senor Jorge Cervantes.
Yeah, there we go.
No, that's definitely more of a damn
He wants
thing.
to know if it is.
Oh my god. There's a ghost.
It's so
It works.
it's so
It's
mystical.
working already.
Oh my gosh, it changed the color of your green screen.
Yeah, 'cause it's vapor.
Vape juice ball. Oh my god.
Devin's not here.
Devin's not here.
Did you give him the right address?
You didn't just give him that address that one of these guys said, did you? Which is like a bogus one.
No, I showed him the actual address.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm gonna go try to meet him and find him. You can sit in. I'll be back.
But he's not gonna be able to see you in your camouflage.
Yeah.
Be invisible.
The invisible Benji.
All right, you guys. So
Ooh,
we got 15 minutes of stream remaining.
That's it?
Yeah, 8:30 is when we're stopping. So here's a cool lever changer that I found.
Did you not do anything close up on your GoPro?
The GoPro works, but we're not using it right now.
But it's
So
such a cool GoPro.
such a cool GoPro.
You want to show it off on the GoPro?
Not really.
It's so small,
Okay,
no one can
fine.
see it.
Yeah, well, people have said that to me my whole life.
I know.
And, you know, doesn't faze me. Is the GoPro working? All right, so here, why don't you hold it over there and then
Yeah,
we'll
and you
talk
can
about
talk
it.
over it.
All right, so what we got coming up on the GoPro is a lever changer, and
Yeah, we're good.
we're good. So here's a lever changer. I have not seen this style before. It uses brass components that are wedged inside of a Delrin body or a plastic body. I thought it was anodized aluminum at first, but it is plastic, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does not look like it's holding up very well. If you look at the thumb screws on the front side, there's no thumb screws in there, but there's like little tiny cracks. But the neatest thing is just that giant brass lever, and it actually seems to, I don't know, function decently. What do you think, Tim? What are your thoughts on it? Here, trade spots with
Do
me.
you know who made this?
I do not know who made it. Here, trade spots with me, and you can give your thoughts on it. Or you can just go sit down, because I'm sure you already demonstrated it well enough.
Where'd you find that one?
So I bought that on Facebook. Somebody had posted it on Facebook. And
Just
I
like, ooh, something I've never seen.
yeah, I
Let's
said,
buy
I've
it.
never seen that before, so I bought it. What I would really like to find in terms of lever changers, there's 2 lever changer systems that I have not been able to find. There is the CCI lever changer, the lever stock, which I haven't been able to find, and then there is a...
Did Mike have one at CCI?
I don't remember seeing one. I'm sure he does have one. or
Buried in a
did.
box somewhere.
But there is another lever changer which was made by Dave Galsworthy. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right, but he was the owner of Sterling,
Okay.
and he actually produced a lever changer which looked similar to the 6-pack, but it used a magazine that was angled backwards. It was like instead of just a standard like magazine coming straight
Like a
down.
box mag?
Well, I mean, yeah, like a box mag, but it's actually angled diagonally backwards. So
So if the thing was like this, the 12 gram would come up at an angle and like click into place, or
well, no, the 12 grams were loaded into it flat, but the whole body of it was like
okay.
the magazine was like, you know, imagine you have like a AK-47 and the magazine is
It's
angled
like a banana,
forward,
like a
right?
banana
But
twist,
it's reversed back. Is Devin there?
Yeah, I'm having him just park in the back for.
Okay,
15
that's
minutes.
so you can jump
not a good idea because Rose will probably kill us.
on.
I will text her right now.
Bocce's gonna get his.
He's gonna come in
Yeah.
for 5-10 minutes.
He's gonna get the
Dude, you can
stiletto
just, like,
treatment.
Park in the middle of the street.
Were
with
there
blinkers
metered
on for,
spots?
15 minutes.
There were no
There's
meters.
no
well,
spots
there
at all.
there was a
Does he
metered
know
spot, and then
which-
he started getting hassled by.
Does he know
homeless
which
people.
spot is mine?
No. You want to run around back and show him?
Yes.
All right, Dan's kicked out.
Finally.
What are we talking about?
Silver car?
No, but somebody is, and they're gonna.
Silver cars.
Stab you.
Oh, there's a parking spot right there that just opened up.
Okay,
Oh no, the car just. did it.
Ermagerd.
damn it.
Wow, that was quick.
The
Hooray
hassles
for
of
Hollywood parking. Yeah.
All right,
fuck that
well, we
shit.
got, what, 10 more minutes?
Something like that.
What else you guys want to know?
Are there any questions on YouTube right now? As I don't have a YouTube stream.
When is Sonny Lopez coming on the stream?
This
We have
is,
no
the
clue.
YouTube stream is on the left. So looks like a Colts woodsman with those grips, yes. When is Sonny Lopez going on the show? Sonny Lopez is in Colorado most of the time. So
Sonny Lopez is too big of a celebrity to come do
probably
a,
not in a while.
rinky-dink
Dude, you know what?
podcast.
We got 10 minutes left. We should go on that post we made and do our favorite paintballized bands.
Oh
right.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pull that up. So
So I stole this idea from a friend of mine in Sacramento, where he would like on different holidays he would make a question up that was something like, you know, take a band name and make it about Thanksgiving, or take a song title and make it about Christmas instead, or name a Christmas song but change the name so it's really boring. So like we came up with it. What was it? Take a band name and change it so it's about paintball instead.
yeah, change it so it's about paintball.
We were on a roll
So-
on the way to Vegas.
Yeah, we really.
There were some really good responses from other people too.
Pond of Seagulls?
That,
See,
I made that one, and that was
a good one.
or
my
just
favorite.
POD, remember?
POD. All right, I'm going to the top right now, and we'll. You guys tell me your favorite ones. So I only thought of it because he said Sonny Lopez. Sonny Lopez and Cher.
So yeah, sure, yeah.
What's up, Devin?
Hey.
Hey, how's it
Pop a
going?
squat.
What's up, Devin?
I made it.
Devin Bailey here for a
What's our frame?
few minutes at
I
least.
should just stay out of the frame.
What's up, everybody?
10 minutes. Good to
I'll
go.
just stand behind you.
So while he's whipping out his goodies, we are going through paintball band names, or band names that we made paintballized.
That's so shiny.
Before we do that,
Woo!
tell us
That
about
Bob
that
Long, baby.
beautiful thing.
So this is my Bob Long cocker. I got it minied. The guy said that the Vasa threads were stripped, so he minied it. I'm not a fan of minis, but this is my one and only mini. And then I think he said he custom made the back block for it.
Oh, so we did
and
the STO style, like
Yeah.
a P block.
Yeah, it has a Evo length.
Right.
Yeah,
Is the block aluminum anode or Delrin?
it's aluminum anode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just not matched to the gun.
That's
then.
cool.
Yeah, and then it's got the old school. I believe these are Smart Parts wood
Yeah.
grips. They're a little scratched up, but
They match that anode really well though.
yeah,
Mhm.
I love this gun. Thank you.
And it's a little upgrade modern with the pops on off. It's got the Sidewinder.
Micro Rock, Inception RAM, and a Bomb 2-3.
Yeah, I've shot that thing. It shoots really nice.
I remember seeing the guy post
Ooh,
pictures
yeah.
after he had minied it, and I was like,
Nice
oh man, that's too bad. It's really sick how it turned out.
I got it with the Empire RAM, so I upgraded to the Inception one.
Yeah, GTR.
Yeah, and it's a great shooter.
That's pretty
love
sick.
that
I
gun.
like the knob on the Micro Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, was a free flow knob, right?
I believe that's cap, but I'm not entirely sure.
Dan, you know this? Is this free flow or cap?
Isn't that the Shock Tech style?
No, ShockTech is the one that's got the cone that has the ST sticker in the middle.
Oh yeah.
I've got one of these too.
Come on,
It's in the same
Dad.
exact color, but I
Same.
can't remember.
Hey,
I always thought it was
couple
free
more
flow.
band names. We had Rage Against the Machine Vapor. I thought that
Such
was
a good name.
one. Go ahead. What else you got?
And then
Oh, it's
I
got a
got it.
sticker on it. I was wondering what the SB was.
oh yeah,
VSB.
VSB.
Oh, VSB.
Shout
Yeah,
out
yeah.
for
Very
Very sneaky
serious
ballas.
Butthole.
Very serious butthole.
very serious
Valley
butthole.
Side Boys.
Very savage ballas. All right, anyways, you know, there's
Yeah.
a couple other
So it's
couple
not
other
right.
names. But this is also my carnivore. Well, my buddy's. I used to own this carnivore, and then I sold it to my buddy, and he just went all out with it. It's got the Evo pneumatics, or
Bell
LPR and
sails.
RAM bell sails. Yeah, sorry.
No.
Shock Tech, bomb 3-way, and a gunfighter frame. He really wanted a gunfighter frame on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Let me,
wow.
let me feel that thing with
Go
the
for it.
gunfighter on
And
You
it.
gotta
then-
show off that bag, Devin.
And then yeah.
Murder.
And then he really
Where's your paintball shirt at?
my paintball shirt.
Yeah.
This is my work shirt.
That's a paintball shirt.
I left right after work.
Any shirt that you
He
wear
was
to play
working
paintball
on
is a
my
paintball
3D
shirt, yeah.
printer, so that's why he was kept long.
What do you do for work,
Helping
Devin?
me make them.
I
death
work for a
boxes.
mechanical contractor. I'm a project coordinator.
He works for
Nice.
Benji fixing 3D printers.
There you
A
go.
little bit, yeah, on the side. And yeah, this is a Murder Inc. paintball bag. I got it from Colorado Hitman,
That's awesome.
Max Spangler. So yeah, I owe him a little bit for this, but it's a nice bag. We'll see if he'll let me keep it.
It's clean.
Yeah, Murder Inc.
So the
paintball.
tricky
Murder
on
Inc.
this
And it
is
has it on
pretty
both sides.
firm, but it's super crisp.
That's what I've noticed about the gunfire frames. You can make them super short, but they're always fairly
Firm.
stiff compared
Yeah.
to some traditional sliders.
Some more names. Jurassic 5-star.
Jurassic Fire, yeah.
My favorite trigger pull is still your Inceptions.
Two-Pod Shakur.
Two pod Chicago.
Did you see that thread that we did?
On the no.
On our way to Vegas. So it was take a band name
names
and
made paintball.
take a band name and change it so it's about
The
paintball
Huntington
instead.
Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Biggie Small Bar.
Biggie Smallbore.
Was that you?
Mike Bruno Mars.
Mike Bruno, yeah.
9-inch Barrels.
9-inch barrels.
That was a good
That's
one.
pretty good.
White Snake Player.
The Tiger Stripes.
Lincoln Paint.
The Tiger. Oh,
Lincoln
Lincoln
Paint.
Paint. I didn't even see that one.
We just posted it on Facebook.
Leonard
Nice.
Stock Class.
Leonard Stock Class. Yeah. The Rolling Stoned Assassins.
Was that one mine?
Journey.
JRNY.
JRNY.
That's a good one.
Yes. A Pot of Seagulls, obviously. Ben Johnson Tide Pods. No. No. Johnny Cash Money Impulse.
That was yours, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was good.
NWWA.
NW.
Come on, White Wolf Airsmithing, right? What was it?
What was your triggers with attitude?
Triggers with
with
Attitude. Yep. Tom Petty and the Barrel Breakers.
The barrel breaker.
That was
Yeah.
Tim. Hootie and Team Blowfish. Come on.
Are they
That's a
still
good one.
around? Is Team Blowfish still around?
We have seen Blowfish at a few
Yeah.
events in SoCal.
Like
Now-
as a team or just a couple other players?
Well, they've played with SoCal stock. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know about playing in tournaments. Devin, maybe you
I-
would know.
I used to know one guy, Evan, I believe, ran with the Blowfish, but it was back when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5 years ago, last time I saw
So
him.
I got reamed for this one by David Lau. I said the Red's Hot Chili Pepper Sticks.
Yeah.
And he said, dude, the Red Dot Chili Peppers.
Which is
Red Dot
Awesome.
Chili Peppers.
Oh,
Okay.
Joey
Deep Purple Anodizing.
Joey just said Johnny Axe plus cash.
Oh,
damn.
Oh,
That's great. That is good. That's
good.
that's really good.
Public NME.
yeah.
There you
okay.
go. The Wu-Tank Clan. The AC Dallas DC.
AC Dallas, yeah, I remember that one.
Okay. Boys to Iron Men.
That was like the first one we thought
Yeah.
of, wasn't it?
The best one. Carlos Sandana.
So- Which took us forever to think of.
It took too long.
Were you guys working on these on the way to Vegas?
Yeah.
So like in the middle of the desert, one of my friends' posts came up and I was like, how can I relate this to paintball? And we just like started naming shit off the
The
top of our heads.
Cure Bolt.
The Cure Bolt, yeah.
Elton
Anthony
John Dresser.
Arellano.
Oh, who did that one? That was you?
Which one?
Elton John Dresser?
Elton John
Oh,
Dresser.
yeah, that
And he
was
liked that
awesome.
post. It was like,
cool.
he didn't like anything else, but he liked
That
the
was
post with his
good.
name in it.
Nickel
Uh,
cap.
James Doodoo Brown.
James
Doo-doo.
Bruce Springfield. That was Kevin Foots.
That's
was
a good
good.
one.
Fat Boy Pod Slim.
True story.
Pearl Jam Bolt.
That was yours, wasn't it? For-
Run Die DMC. Yes.
I think my favorite still is Johnny Axe plus cash.
It's
That's
it's
really
great.
good.
so good.
It's really good.
The Sex Sheridan Pursuit Pistols.
The Sex Pursuit Pistols.
Sinead O'Connor O'Brien.
Oh
With
my God.
with Connor Tag.
Okay, so we are coming down to the last 3 minutes of the
Yep.
stream. So
Are you gonna do
Our-
local events?
RPS Kelly.
Are you gonna do local event shout
yeah,
outs?
what's our local event?
Local event. We got the
Spew.
PBSL finale.
What's Spew next week, right?
Next weekend.
Spew.
Yeah. Be up
What
there.
else?
That's
What
like
else?
it.
We
isn't it?
have BNI's Furious whatever. Furious 3? Is
That's
what it's
this
called?
weekend
That's this weekend.
at Combat.
Are they still doing like Chosen 4 tournaments too?
I'm not sure when the next
believe
one
I'll
is.
be at
So, I'm not
Ambush
sure.
next Sunday playing with a bunch of gamers.
The used
Gamer.
buy sell trade.
The used VST.
Let's
Air
see.
supply.
We have
Yeah, just straight up.
Oh wait, a gun called Quest.
That yes.
Gun call.
That's pretty good. I can't remember any other.
WGP
events.
Outcast.
True. Oh, you TKS too.
Naughty by nature. Come on, there's a
So,
paintball team.
What else do we not talk about? I can't even remember. Do we have any other questions? Let's
Lamb of Pod.
any with some questions. Michael Burkhart says Furious 3 this weekend.
Dr. Die.
Dr. DY.
Snoop Naughty Dog. That
Snoop
was a
Doggy
good
Dogg,
one.
That was good. What's the gun that you didn't talk about, or is that just the body, the
What?
silver one?
Oh, that's a ghost body. We don't need to talk about
It's
that.
just a
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about ghost bodies.
I mean,
POD.
I care, but
POD was good.
Rush the Snake.
Just the snake.
That was Velvet Crossman Revolver.
Yes.
That's it. That's all we got. I thought it was a good thread. If you want to see all, there was like 150 posts.
Yeah,
it's on my
150,
Facebook. Ozzy Kilborn.
Ozzy Kilborn.
I like that one.
that's a pretty good one.
Cool. Well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for coming. 10 minutes. I don't want to break your arm. Which arm is the good
left
one?
arm. Yeah,
There you
recovering.
go.
I dislocated my shoulder.
Wait,
but-
okay, first, before we RIP, what's the most exciting thing that you've seen 3D printed lately? All four of you guys. Paul, squeeze in there. Scoot over, let Paul in.
Well, most exciting thing
Yeah.
was that guy who made that duck-looking gun out of Sweden, or you posted that, Dan. You shared it to the group.
I did, but I forgot to.
I like your
Forgot to find the photo,
devolumizing
so
chambers.
that'll be a
Those are
photo for
cool.
Yeah,
next week,
so
but yeah.
I did print a devolumizing chamber that James, one of the family at SC, shared with me. It's basically, I thought I brought one, but I'll have to bring one on the next stream. But it's a little 3D printed plug that fits into a 2K plus body behind your pump kit. And basically, if you're running 12 gram CO2 unregged right into the body, it will get you significantly extra shots because it basically makes that volume chamber smaller,
Too
like
long.
a pre-2K auto
Sounds
cocker.
exciting. Next.
Check it out. I'll have them for sale.
Devin, what do you
Or you
got?
can message
Those
James.
mini loaders that what are they?
Jeff
Jeff
boxes.
boxes.
Jeff boxes. Those are I've seen those evolve in the iteration. Those are looking really good.
Yeah.
I'm
You
gonna have
said
to
the
get
secret
one of
word.
Here's some of
now
the
Benji has to
most
plug
current
his
ones.
sales.
Yeah.
This is
so-
the hairy box, the Haas box.
Oh yeah.
The hairy ass ammo system.
And I got a couple Cram and
Why?
Jam stick feeds for
Oh, yeah,
10 round tubes that
we
I'm
didn't
gonna bring
bring
up
those.
to. Yeah, I don't have any with me.
Why
but
is this one so
They
free?
fit into stovepipe, and you can fit
It's
a
hairy.
10 round tube in them. I'll have
For
some of those
reasons?
up at Spew.
I like
And-
it. It's
So-
cool.
Yeah,
Those
so
are-
if you want,
Is that one that you designed?
Yeah,
Cool.
they're real simple, just a little
Cool.
elbow.
I mean, that's all it needs to be for a stick feed, you know?
Yeah, get
so
the
there
job
you go.
done.
There's going to be a decent amount of different 3D printed
These are
products
awesome.
at Spew. So if you
Yeah.
want to get something that, most of these probably aren't going to hit the market for a while. So now's your chance to get them.
Tim, next up, what do you got? What's your most exciting 3D printed
I already
thing?
said.
You might have said it, but Benji was running his mouth, so say it again.
As opposed to you running your mouth the whole time while we were trying to talk. What?
I
Oh,
don't talk for 5 minutes, and then I have to get it all in 1 minute. So go ahead. What is it, Tim?
Get it all in.
Benji was making devolumizing.
Yeah, but he
rods.
already said that. You got to have something for
I
yourself.
said
That's
that.
what he said, and then I.
And he
Took it.
All
capitalized
right,
on
well,
it.
he went with that, so what do you got?
Oh,
What else have you seen?
Uh,
Paul, you're next.
My
Squeeze in, Paul.
my
Squeeze in.
favorite
You
3D
said about
printing
that.
is Jack Wada's stick feed, baby.
Jack
Let's
Wada
go.
doesn't print a stick feed.
Or
Oh, you're talking about Jeff's Frank Wang's stick feed.
oh, sorry, yeah, Frank
Come on,
Wayne.
you guys.
Sorry,
think
Frank
outside,
Wayne.
Playing
Think outside of the box.
And actually, I'm
You
gonna
gotta
make
have
those too. Right now, he had those, I think, on Thingiverse.
Thingiverse.
But it's like you need to pay $50 to get one of those printed, and that's without him getting any profit off of it. So,
So just
I'm
get the
gonna.
design from him and
That's
you do it.
Okay.
that's
hey,
what I'm doing. You'll get
Okay,
it half
if you want
price.
a legitimate product, what I think is awesome for 3D
Yeah.
printing, the brackets that people are using for PMR mods on Angels, so that you can mod
Oh,
a
cool.
PMR board into
That is a
Angel
good.
frames.
Yeah,
See, this is what I
those
was
are
hoping
pretty
for.
cool.
Which
I
I need
was-
to talk to you
I
about
was
later.
hoping for things outside of the
You
box,
wanna make you
not
some?
just
You have a printer
plugs,
now. Yep.
Benji. You know, and I don't mean volumizer plugs. I mean like things that you've seen that really push the boundaries. But you did say that duck slide.
That
So
duck slide was cool.
You nailed it. And Devin, you got what? Is there anything else that has like blown your mind? That
I
you've
saw
seen?
something cool. Some guy took something that was on Thingiverse, which was that it was like a 6-tube revolver that was meant for like a Tippmann gun,
Uh-huh.
and he basically modified it in his 3D modeler to basically load on top of a gun. So it's like 6 tubes coming straight out the top, except he's cutting the tube so it's like 30 balls about yay high, and you click it like a standard revolver in a
Jorge
tri-loader.
Cervantes' real tree quick load.
Yeah, the quick load.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
One that you
Yes.
got.
Yeah.
Except
So it's
smaller.
that on top of the gun.
Cool.
Before we leave, I know that I said I'm going to ambush next Sunday with a bunch of pro gamers, like professional online gamers.
Cool.
Like
one.
Scottians?
Oh no,
Starcrafters?
they're all from they all play
PUBG?
PUBG. One of them used to play semi-pro, and he actually
Paintball or?
Paintball, yeah.
Nice.
He's a fan of Benji's, and he called you out. He said,
Oh,
"This
shit.
Sunday."
Oh shit, son.
Oh shit.
Where at
you out.
Spew? He's
Well,
going to
yeah.
Spew?
Oh, you're going to
next-
Spew.
That's right. Where's he playing?
Ambush.
But he'll be back.
Any other
then.
No
day.
call
Back,
outs.
yeah.
And
Left-handed. No. Let's go.
good, man.
Jorge
He's
says
good.
must be
What's
used
his
with
name?
BM68 with
Tuna.
12 grams.
Tuna?
And a full
Eric
cup
Jordan.
frame.
Tuna. I eat tuna daily.
I want to see the video of that.
Let's
Tell-
go,
tell him to
tuna.
Spew.
Let's go, tuna.
Okay,
He's
That's-
all electro.
Jorge
All
says,
electro.
Tell him to put a stick feed on that electro.
all right, hey you guys, a couple comments here.
We can convert it to him.
Andre says one-on-one, bring it. Jorge says must be used with the BM68.
Andre's
12
a
grams,
beast
full-
one-on-one
full
with that
full
freaking
cup
Nell
frame.
spot.
I used to be good at one.
Jorge says Time has 3D printed portable pillows. I think he meant Tim.
Because
And
retarded.
I think let's just check our YouTube comments, but I'm pretty sure that's the.
Jimmy's
extent
saying
of
the
it.
Ovit tri-loader
Yeah, well, we're looking outside
Those
the
look
box
really
right now.
nice.
Those are rad.
outside the Jeff box.
Those are rad, but we are.
Oh yeah, what about these? It's outside the box, except I've mentioned it before. Squishy,
I
I
wanna
know,
see
I know.
that
I
actually.
haven't sold them to you
school,
guys yet, but
old
I will.
school.
This is the first
I
time
will.
seeing it in person.
Check that
It's
out.
so fluffy.
Fire
Oh, it's
team
not as squishy as I thought it would be.
Dragur says
Yeah,
Blowfish
squishy
still
up top.
around.
I like this.
They were one of the first teams I ever played against in a tournament. The first tournament I ever played, I was playing against.
Didn't
What-
and they
didn't
fucking stomped
Phil
us.
Dominguez have a blowfish
good.
jersey?
I think he might have. All right, so that's it. That's our.
That's
stream
it.
Tonight.
Thanks for watching, guys.
All
Thanks,
right,
everybody.
us.
Peace.
If you have comments, you can always troll Benji with them later on. He's constantly
That's true.
checking his social media.
You can
for-
send tech questions to me, but I'm behind on answering.
Oh yeah,
messages.
and if anybody
Way
who likes
behind.
cockers wants, my buddy Dan Gibson is selling an Evo, a beautiful Evo, and he's gonna be raffling off a Danny Love at some point.
Wait, what kind of Evo?
A green pre-2K Evo.
Nice.
It's
Right
pretty
feed?
nice.
Just fixed one of those
It
for,
is
yeah.
right feed.
Ooh.
That was a
And
rating.
a
much?
free flow,
What's he asking for the Evo?
right-handed free flow. I'm not sure
Oh,
what
he's
he's
towing
asking,
my
but
car?
if anybody wants his info, you can hit me up and I will send him your way.
Hook me
I
up.
know a lot of Evo lovers there.
All right. Thanks for watching. All right.
Cool. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
This is sick.
Thank you.
Thumbs
We're
up.
gonna cross our tips.
Yeah, it'll be
Just